So on the eve of March 26th, I decided to binge every single Mighty Ducks movie. Every single one, as if there's a lot. There's only 3, but I decided to do it because the new series is premiering on Disney Plus tomorrow. I binged all 3. Let's talk about it. So growing up, I love these movies. I grew up watching them all the time. They're so much fun. I went to college in Minnesota, and a lot of these scenes stand out to me because they very well filmed this in Minnesota. There are a lot of iconic places that you see them in real life, and you are drawn back to these movies, which is something that only Minnesota people will understand. But I take that into account when I watch these movies. Disclaimer up front, I kind of was like, had them on the background when I was working, making dinner. The third one is the one I paid the most attention to because that's the one I've seen the least of the 3. But I got thoughts, so let's get to it. Before we do, like and subscribe, ring that bell, hear notifications for when new videos go up. And we'll also have a reaction to the new Mighty Ducks series, so make sure you check that out when it's available. So Mighty Ducks is a very basic plot. Emilio Estevez plays Gordon Bombay, who is on parole for drinking and driving. So what do? They give him to a bunch of children to teach him hockey. It's pretty crazy. But this movie has a lot of heart, and I really think it sets the pace for the future of the franchise. There's a lot of iconic moments from this, from the flying V to quack, quack, quack. If I'm ever on the ice playing hockey, I always think of passing the egg. There's just a lot of moments that make this feel really special. I honestly think the worst part about these movies are when they film the hockey scenes, though, because there's a lot of stop and go with it, and it's like just happening in slow motion almost. Like these characters are able to stop, think about what they want to do, pass it, and especially when it comes to the shootout, it's just not realistic at all. So my constant reminder to all of us while watching these movies is that yes, it's a children's movie. It's a Disney movie, and it's, I don't know, maybe gets a pass or 2 because of nostalgia reasons, but I did give this a 4.5 stars on Letterboxd. Can I justify this with the acting or the unique script or anything about the cinematography? No, I can't. But what I can say is that the movie does hold up. After seeing it many years later, I still am a big fan. The second Mighty Ducks movie is probably my favorite one. This is where they go join Team USA, they bring on some new people from around the country, and they play in the Junior Olympics. Now this brings even more iconic moments to this series. Every single character has something unique. You have Julie, the Catwoman, I think is what they call her. Oh, just the cat. Alright, I was close. You have Kenan Thompson making an appearance with his knuckle puck. You got Dwayne, who likes to lasso. You got Louise, who's the fast guy. And then, of course, Ken Wu, the figure skater. So there's a lot of iconic people. And this is where the movie starts to get really fun, because I feel by movie number 2, it's that same level of, like, not great quality story-wise, but I think they almost own it so much more in this movie. They realize it's quirky, they realize it's fun, and every single character is just having a blast. I didn't even talk about the Bash Brothers, but you got Dean Portman joining the team, and now you got the duo, which turns into trio, and the Bash Brothers are so much fun to watch. A lot of great music is used in this movie, and it's just a great time, so I would say that this is still my favorite of the trilogy. Now, the third movie, like I said earlier, is the one I've watched the least, and I swear, I remember this movie was college, and I was having a Mandela effect, seeing that it did not take place in college at all. But I think I do like this movie the least, and I think a lot of it has to do with just because I didn't watch it as much as the first 2 growing up, and maybe if I would have, I would still have that nostalgic feeling I have towards the other one, but unfortunately this one doesn't really get a pass. Now this movie is still very fun, but I think I notice a lot of the flaws, and they're much more obvious to me. But this movie, I think, tries so hard to be serious, and I think in some moments it works really well. This movie is about growing up and moving on. They want to retire the Ducks. Gordon Bombay's not their coach anymore. All this crazy stuff is happening, and Charlie is trying so hard just to go back to the way things were. And I think this movie does contradict itself, because while Charlie does learn his lesson, he's rewarded by things going back the way they were, in a sense. They get to be the Ducks again, and that's really great. Dean Portman makes a great appearance halfway through the game, coming to the locker room and saving the day, so that's always fun. But yeah, I think this movie is still probably my least favorite of the 3. I feel like I want to take a whole other video to talk about the animated series, which I've only seen a little bit of, but there's not a lot of episodes, 26 to be exact, so I might just watch it all and make a whole other video talking about it. We'll see. But I do think these movies hold up for those who watch it in the time. Now, I'd be very curious to hear thoughts if you never saw these movies before and you're watching them for the very first time. Do they work at all? Because critically, they appear to not work. But I think you can't deny how iconic this franchise has become. I mean, the Mighty Ducks is a term that everyone knows what it means. I mean, they named an NHL team after them, and perhaps it speaks more to the power of Disney than this specific movie, because I think if Disney would have made any hockey movie, they would have named an NHL team after that hockey movie. But it's still really cool. You got the anime series, you got a new live action series on Disney Plus premiering tomorrow that you've probably already seen. And as I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of moments that transcend the movies into like actual sports, and not in the way like people don't actually do the flying V, but when you say the flying V, people know what you're talking about. I didn't even really mention the score to this, but the score is beautiful. The iconic theme, every time I hear it, it just gets me pumped up. It makes me feel nostalgic because it's always played in a moment when they're either winning or they're talking about something they remember, and I think that works so well, especially watching it all these years later, because as they are feeling nostalgic for previous moments in their life, we are feeling nostalgic because we have already experienced this moment of them experience a previous moment, and it's just beautiful. Just not realize I didn't rate the other two movies. So D2 gets a 4.5 stars. D3, 3.5. Might feel like a drastic jump, but I feel like it's accurate. So that's it. I watched all three Mighty Ducks movie in one day. Those are my initial thoughts. Very brief, to the point. What's your favorite one? Do these movies hold up? I want to know all those thoughts. Comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want some more content like this. Next video I record, we'll be talking about the first episode of the new live action series, so make sure to stay tuned. I will see you next time.